great. Just a little bit of background so you know where all these tours are coming from and everything. I've been in business in the travel agency for nearly 30 years now. Started off, was it 6 years ago? No, 8 years. We made our first trip to Ireland. Then it was every 3 years. Then it was every year. Then it was every summer. And then finally, I ended up getting accepted into Trinity College, and I spent 7 years straight from there. So when I came back and I saw what was going on in a lot of the industry, I said, I think I can do this a little bit better and give it a tip. My focus is not so much on all the touristy type things that are normally included in these tours, but I have the added advantage of having so much experience in Irish culture. I was an Irish dance teacher for 30 years. I'm still an adjudicator. I still run around the place. Like they send me to Nashville on Sunday for the North American Champions. So I'm going to get to judge that for 5 days straight, 8 to 8.
That's a
with
lot of
bouncing.
dancing.
Oh yeah. But so it's that. I've also been a member of the Irish Traditional Musicians Association. So I have access to all these fantastic traditional things that you don't normally see on a regular tour. And it makes it a little bit more fun. And in this particular trip, we got it organized at the moment so that you're going to end up in what's called Fleadh Nua. Fleadh is the Irish word for festival. Nua is new. So this is usually the first Fleadh of the year for the summer. And besides the music in the streets, in the pubs, in the squares and everything, there are also competitions going on, but we won't know exactly which ones are going to be on when you're going to be there, but you won't be short of music for that whole time. You'll end your trip with a very good note, to say the least. We're going to contract to do the tour with CIE Tours, which is the leader in land tours and everything like that. They work with me, and we have all my lovely idiosyncrasies thrown in, so it makes it really a much better idea. This is a quick video that they put together to give you an idea what the coach looks like and everything else like that.
Go ahead, Brian.
Unfortunately, it is, they also include Scotland and England in it, but you can ignore that because we're not going there. This time, all right? How's that? All right, let's see if this works.
Out here.
Diane, out here.
Thank you.
All the exciting and wonderful travel opportunities available today, you might ask, what makes a CIE Tours vacation experience unique? CIE Tours International has been in the travel business for more than 80 years, supplying travellers with exceptional, comprehensive vacations to Ireland, Scotland, England and Wales. We offer the widest range of programs to Ireland and Britain, giving you, the traveller, the benefit of seeing all you want to see on your vacation.
We have more itineraries coming.
With guaranteed departures and itineraries, travellers can be confident when booking their airfare and planning their vacation months in advance. CIE Tours' well-planned itineraries are a culmination of years of experience and feedback from past travellers and local guides alike. With the largest local staff in the industry, CIE Tours truly are the Ireland and Britain specialists.
It's been great. We've gone places I know I wouldn't normally have gone.
Now, sometimes we get our sheet collected and we might need to make a new selection.
Your land tour price covers most of your meals, luggage handling at each destination, and all of the special features, including premier access to the Royal Edinburgh military tattoo on August departures. This means no additional hidden costs, and more importantly, your tour director is focused on your enjoyment. Travel on luxury, state-of-the-art motor coaches with free Wi-Fi access to keep in touch with friends and family. Choose from the widest selection of coach tours in the industry, with itineraries ranging from a short few days and nights to multiple weeks.
Good evening, my name is Hello.
and your gracious lady to rule over our banquet here this evening.
A full Irish breakfast is served every morning, and 4-course dinners are included most nights. Our tours start and end strategically in Ireland and Britain's most famous cities, giving travellers the option to extend their stay and explore more of these vibrant destinations. With our contracted rates, booking pre- and post-nights is simple and affordable when travelling with CIE Tours. Share the trip of a lifetime with those closest to you. No matter what CIE Tours vacation you decide on, you're sure to be well taken care of. Take the country roads less travelled. Contact your travel agent or visit cietours.com for pricing and availability. CIE Tours, your Ireland and Britain experts.
Just to give you an idea, who's going to be taking care of you when you're over there? CIE is probably one of the best companies in Ireland in terms of coaches, staff. The drivers are absolutely fantastic. And each single one has their own little twist on everything. You have anything from drivers who sing and have a historical reference to their songs, to all kinds of historians and everything like that. And they're always in for great crack, no matter what happens. Do we know what crack means?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Anybody don't?
Yeah. No,
You don't know
crack
what it
is a
means?
good time.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
crack
not the
cocaine.
other kind that we have over here.
Say is also a good time.
You'd be too busy laughing to be worried about having any of that stuff.
Except for a pint or two.
Well, that's not crack. Just a brief map of where we're going to go. We're going to start in Shannon. We're going up to the Cliffs of Moher, to Galway, through Knock, up to Sligo, back down into Dublin, down into Cashel, into Cork, into Killarney. We're going to do the Dingle Peninsula, through Adair, and then finally back to Ennis, where you'll have the Flanua going on at that particular time. So it is just a little thing to keep in mind. What is included in the price that we gave you, or that's on those forms? You have transportation from a luxury motor coach with a driver guide. So he's there the whole time with you, with the exception of the few walk-in tours which are done by the local guides themselves, which is great. They meet and greet you at the airport and actually say goodbye to you at the airport when you're going home. 12 nights accommodation on twin bases, and you get full Irish breakfast every day. Do you understand what a full Irish breakfast is? You don't have to worry about lunch after that. Usually egg sausages and potatoes. Oh, black puddings and white puddings and everything else like that. So you really fill up in the morning, and it's great. On this particular thing, we're going to include 6 dinners. They talked about hotel portage. Once you give the bag to the driver at the airport, you really don't have to touch it. It's brought up to your room. You unpack, you do what you do. At night, you leave the bag out. It'll go back down on the coach, and then mysteriously appear in your next hotel room. Hopefully, no, but most of the time. Except for the times that they forget to leave the bag out, then we have a problem. But no, it is that kind of a situation where you really don't have to worry about lugging suitcases all over the place. The other thing that we're doing is we're spending at least 2 nights in each location, so you're not packing and unpacking and doing that. It all gives you the opportunity, if for one day you're too exhausted after the days before, you can take a break. We're going to be in hotels that are very close to the city centers of these towns. So you have the option of, taking it easy. Why, I don't know. You can come back and relax afterwards.
Well, it could be because we're all over 55.
That's the worst ones on the trip. They were, yes. That is optional. We have to find out at the moment. If you look at the form, there is a thing whether or not you want to be included in round trip transport. Unfortunately, yes, because we don't know how many are going, and it's all divided by how many are going on the bus and things like that. But that is something that we are hoping to do. It'll make it much easier.
But you
Alright.
will have the option to go on your own.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, or to get a ride from your family member to save you that cost, or carpool, or whatever people wanna do. But if we have enough people sign up for that, then of course, do you know how much per person that usually runs, Brian?
It depends, but nowadays it's changed so much, the price of with gas and tolls and everything. We used to be able to do it from $60 to $80 round trip. But,
Now it'll be more.
huh?
Yeah, now it'll be more.
Yeah, probably, yes,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
gonna say times two.
Yeah, that's it,
Cause
yeah.
if you do an Uber or a car service
Yeah.
from here to Newark Airport, it's 200 each way.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, minimal. That's in a two-car person, you're stuck in the back like this, so.
And you will get from CIE this nice package of goodies. There is now this is this year's, it may change a little bit from year to year, but it's basically the same. You have a backpack, you have a pocket for documents and everything else like that. The little thing on the, is this working? It is. This little thing on the side here, it's a thing you clip on your belt for a poncho, which is always good, because you never know in Ireland. Well, the thing is, if you wake up in the morning, sunshine, it will rain sometime during the day. It's a rain, it might be sunny all day afterwards. And we'll go over a lot of these other things once we get into the actual trip itself. But you know, layered look is always the look in Ireland, because you never know. It could be feel like 60 in the morning, feel like 100, and then go back down again. So you never know. It depends on how strong the sun is and everything. So that is that. And then we will be doing airfare from Newark Airport. We'll be using United, because United's the only one that flies into Shannon and back nonstop nowadays. Aer Lingus is not doing that out of Newark. And it's really a pain. And it's so much nicer to go in and out of Shannon Airport than it is Dublin. Dublin has multiplied in the last 10 years. In fact, they're actually thinking about adding another 30 gates. And, you know, at one point after the pandemic, because they didn't have enough airport security checking people into the terminal, there was a picture of a line of them in Dublin Airport going all the ways down the access roads, and they were being left there and had to wait to get on. Shannon is so much nicer, and you're right in the country, and you're ready to start. All right, so, yeah.
Question. I have family in Down.
Right.
We're up north.
Right.
Will we be able to go and visit with them?
Well, we'll be up in Sligo would probably be the closest place that time. If you want to leave the tour for a day or two, that's, you know, certainly something you can do. Or if you want to go after the tour, that's another possibility.
Okay.
But you'll be going out from, because we're ending up in Shannon again. So that's a hike up there. But we have great car rental rates and everything, so if you want to do that, we have preferred rates and bed and breakfast and different hotels and everything like that. So we can do post packages if you would want to. Yes?
Is there a age restriction on leasing a vehicle?
Oh, there is, yes, of course.
What was the question?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure, the question is, what's the age restriction of driving over there? It depends on the car rental companies. A lot of them now are cutting it off at 75, but if you pay a premium insurance charge, they will let you rent it as well, up to about 80 or something like that. Sorry? Okay. Yes?
Do you have the option to golf?
Yes.
Right, can you repeat the
Oh,
question?
sure. Talking about golfing. Yes.
Somebody asked if you have an option to golf.
We can add that into it. We'll be down in Kinsale, which is right next to Old Head. Killarney will have Ballybunion and the old course there. So it's possible, because we're going to be there 2 days, very well. Or if you like, we can do an add-on to the tour if it's just golfing. But no, there is. And even in Dublin, they have Portmarnock and everything. So it's quite, and Kildare is another one that's within range. So we could set that up as an option.
Maybe what we would do is, once we get everybody together who's definitely going, we'll make a list of golfers and who would like to do that, and then Brian, can you
Right.
set that up for them?
Oh, sure, yeah.
So all you have to do is we'll put a list together of the golfers who wanna do that, and then we'll be right there, and we'll get them.
Right, yeah. And, you know, we can do, like, private cars that will take you to the golf course. You have the round, and then you can come back again. So you're not looking to rent cars or anything at that stage. It's a day trip anyway. And if you're really mad, you could do three 18 holes over the course of the 2 weeks or more. It was like we had a foursome of 4 emergency doctors who went on a golf trip to Ireland just on that. And they did 36 holes a day for 2 weeks.
They like golf. Are they heart surgeons?
No, they were ER guys. And I said to him, you're never going to be able, he said, we're ER doctors. We know what stimulants we need to get going.
So
They
much
did
for the
it.
crack.
They did it. The drivers were exhausted. They had to change the drivers off twice on it because they were so tired from them. Because they were doing, 4 or 5 hours driving, and, it becomes bad. They're exhausted. They're out partying all night afterwards. It was great fun. But that is a possibility that we can do, yes. Why miss golfing in Ireland when you're there?
That's right.
Yeah. All right, so I will do just a brief outline of what we're going to be doing every day to give you an idea of what to expect. We have 1 or 2 videos that will show things that you might want to see very badly. So the first day is here we go. No? Where's this going? Here we go. First day, optional transfers from here to the airport. Overnight flight on United. We arrive into, probably if it stays at the same schedule, it's probably going to be about a 10 o'clock flight out, and you arrive at 10 o'clock in the morning, which is really good versus the 5 o'clock thing. And then by the time you get to the hotel, they'll be ready for you. You can actually check in and not have to wander around and wait. Okay, so we have in-flight entertainment. You'll get a meal. Your first bag is paid for within the CIE price, so you're not going to be hit for the first bag. If you're bringing 2 or 3 bags, that's another story. And to be honest with you, you should limit yourselves to at least 1 main suitcase per person. It's just that the buses don't have that kind of space underneath. You don't want to be having luggage in the bus with us. But normally 1 seat, and then you have the carry-on bag, that's fine. All right, so that morning when you arrive, you'll be met by your driver after you clear customs. When we do the documents and everything, I'll go through the different procedures over there when you clear customs. It's not like here where you have to stand online with everything. They have what they call a red and the green zone. If you have nothing to clear, you walk straight through and you're fine. If they think you have something to clear, they'll pull you over. Otherwise, if you have a red zone where you're bringing something in, which hopefully you're not at that stage, it will be, straight through. So it's a much easier way through on customs over there. And then CIE driver and the reps will be outside waiting for you to gather you up, get the luggage, and take you out to your coach. And then the first stop is for breakfast along the way. You might be hungry at that stage. Yes. Then we're going to go along the Clare coastline, and you're going to stop at the Cliffs of Moher to have a good look at them. You won't get a sight this thing because it's all barriered off now and everything like that, but it is a fantastic vista of the Atlantic Ocean just in front of you. From then, we're going to go on to Galway. When you get to Galway, you're going to have a walking tour through the city. And then you'll be taken to your hotel, and that night you'll have a weekend welcome drink and actually dinner in the hotel, and then you're free for the rest of the night to collapse. Advice traveling off a transatlantic flight is to go as long as you can until you collapse, and then we'll wake up in the morning much more refreshed. Your circadian rhythm is all messed up at that stage. So you're waking up at what you think is 2 o'clock in the morning. We're coming into Ireland, your body tells you it's 2 o'clock in the morning, it's nice and sunny and everything. If you go to bed and then wake up, it's gonna be messed up. So this is one of the reasons why we kind of run you around a little bit on the first day to ensure that you go to bed, you'll sleep nicely that night. Hopefully, right? So you're gonna be doing dinner and overnight in the Galmont Hotel in Galway. It's actually on one of the small lakes just outside Galway town. You're about 3 or 4 blocks into the town. So you're in a very good location if you're up and able to go that day. Next day, we're going to do the Aran Islands and Dun Angus. So you're going to take a ferry ride from Galway City up over to Inchmore, which is the largest of the islands. This is what the Aran Islands will look like. You know, the walls that you see in Connemara, the green fields and everything. It's fascinating how they live there all year round. Years ago, it was only the ferry and that was it. During the winter, ferries didn't run all the time because the water was so bad and everything. Nowadays, they actually have small prop planes that can get in and out, so it's pretty good. But it's really isolated, and it's fascinating to see. You'll be taken on a mini bus tour of the island, showing you all the different sites. They'll take you to what's called Dun Angus, which is a 2nd or 3rd century fort that was built on the edge of the island. It's on that corner thing there. You see the thing that's missing? That's the part that keeps falling into the ocean since 2:30. What I couldn't never understand the first time I went there with a tour, the guy said to me, "Do you know this island was invaded 3 times and they tried to take this fort?" For just the purpose of taking it, I guess. There was nothing really worthwhile on it at that point, unless they were going to take all the sheep back with them or not. I don't know. Well, it was wild, but that keeps falling off a little bit at a time. There is, you know, it is a little bit of a climb up to Dun Angus, so, you know, talk to the driver and everything. If you think that you're not, there is a small little bus, which is a T-stop with benches and everything, so if you don't think you can make it, you certainly can hang out down there while you're waiting for the buses to come back. And you're all going to be on separate minibuses. You're not going to get all into one bus. You'll go back to the hotel in Galway. You'll visit Kilronan to do a little bit shopping and everything like that. And you'll have the rest of the day to go sightseeing, go shopping, and then you can go look for a nice place for dinner. Talk to the driver. They're always great in terms of recommending places that you would want to. Tell them the kind of food that you're looking for and everything, and they usually have a dozen. Galway has a lot of nice little restaurants and everything in that area. Okay, and then we're going to make you holy for a little while. The drive from Galway, you're going to be going up to Knock Shrine. The Virgin Mary appeared there to 3 children in 1879. It's a pilgrimage spot to Ireland. You'll be there on the Sunday, so there are masses and everything, so that's a possibility that you can get your mass in at a real holy place this time. I remember I did a tour for one of the universities, and we stopped at Knock, and I was accused I was trying to convert them all. And of course, we visited the monastery and stuff, which are part of the Irish history. So we tried, one of them was going and said, "I don't think I can go in." I said, "Why not?" "They won't let me in the door." I said, "Okay." I don't want to know. You're in one of my classes. I don't want to hear that story at all. So you're going to visit there. They have the normal religious souvenir shops all over the town and everything like that, so you can pick up the trinket. But it's a fabulous place to see. That's actually the church there. Then you're going to go on and watch the sheepdog herd. It's going to be a working farm with sheep, and they're going to show you how the sheepdogs herd them, like you saw in that small little picture on the thing. It's fascinating to see how they work. They're so much more intelligent than you possibly can imagine. I remember years ago I had a Sheltie, which is a miniature sheepdog. if he wanted us to go someplace, he used to nip at my heel to push me in the right direction. And there was no stopping him. It was unbelievable. So we do that. So that's a very interesting facility. Then you're going to continue to the town of Sligo. You're going to be there in time to have free time, but you will have dinner in the restaurant. That we're going there. It didn't want to stove. Okay. So you're dinner and overnight. You're again within a short walking distance. You have to remember that Sligo is one of the traditional music capitals of Ireland. They have the most infamous violinists and fiddle players that you ever hear. So any of the pubs at that time of year is going to have some music in it. So you're going to see that as well. On the Monday, we're going to be doing Sligo. We're going to take you off for some literature, and you're going to visit the graveyard of W.B. Yeats. There is an actual hall there that gives the story of his thing. And then afterwards, you're going to take a panoramic tour of the Sligo area. It's noted for its mountains, its beaches, its glassy lakes and everything. And this is where Yeats got most of his inspiration from. Does anybody know the famous song that was taken from one of his poems? You do, yeah. Down by the Sally Gardens? No? Oh, well, you'll hear it at some stage. But that was his description of that particular thing of two lovers and everything like that. But this was all part of, remember, he's a Nobel Prize winner in literature. So he was absolutely fabulous. That's one of the mountain ranges in Sligo that you will see. It's absolutely, for such a, not small county, but a county like that, it's kind of overlooked. People use it as a road on the way up to Donegal, and they kind of just ride right through it. But there are fabulous things. So you're back to the hotel. You have another evening at leisure to kind of recap. Overnight at the same hotel, so you're 2 nights in Sligo. Then comes the fun part. On the way to Dublin, you're going to stop in Carrick-on-Shannon, which is at the top of the Shannon River, one of the lakes, and you're going to have a Moon River cruise in the daytime, not at night. That's just the name of the cruise line. But it is, you know, the lakes up there are unbelievable, and actually, they still do it, not as much as possible, but you can actually rent cabin cruises on the Shannon River and drive themselves, pull into the different towns as you go along. It's a fantastic vacation if you want to get away from it. If you know how to operate one of those boats, it's great. But you can pull up to any town along the way. They give you a list of where all the pubs are, the traditional things. They'll actually stock the ship with the food because it has its own gallery and everything else like that. But so you'll get just a taste of that on this particular panoramic road. Then, okay, what we do, again, just to let you know, it's a work in progress, this itinerary, because a lot of the schedules and times are not available for 2024 yet. So we're going to be waiting to include other things as they come about. One of the things we'll probably include is we're going to stop, I think it was a request in Sean's Pub in Athlone. It's the oldest pub in Ireland, as they claim. We don't know.
Ann told me, I knew nothing.
So you'll take the cruise there, then we'll go on to Dublin, possibly stopping in Sean's Pub on the way. And there might be 1 or 2 other things that we'll be adding. Again, it's kind of iffy this far out. This is your basic thing, and we'll probably add to it to make things more exciting. That night, you're going to have a traditional show with music, dance, and songs, and you'll have dinner there as well. And they have a whole lot of Irish specialties that they do. You know, stew, shepherd's pie, you know, the whole load of it. So it's a fantastic night. You're overnight in Davenport Hotel. Davenport Hotel is at the back of Trinity College. So you're only about 5 or 10 minutes walk to Grafton Street, to Westmoreland Street, to go on to O'Connell Street and everything like that. It's about 15-minute walk crawl to the Temple Bar District, where all the pubs and the traditional music are at night and everything. So they're all things you can get to walk through Trinity College if you'd like. The well run. I'm not sure if on the Dublin tour they're going to do Trinity College because they're redoing the long room where the Book of Kells are. I'm not sure if they're going to be finished or not. It is there. They've moved it to another place, but it's just not the same. I have no prejudice, having graduated from Trinity, but that's besides the point. I mean, I could not believe that all this was in this one building. And you have to be careful when it's raining because Front Square and most of the other areas are all cobblestoned.
Is there any possibility it could be done by then?
Oh, I think, I'm hoping. That's why I
Okay.
say I don't want to include it yet until they said. I'm just worried about what they're gonna do to the long room. They're putting in all new air filtration systems and everything like that. So it's supposed to be, it's a.
Kinda like Greenbriar.
I mean, you think about this, they're entitled to every publication that's published in Ireland and England automatically into that library. And since it was founded in 1592, kind of few volumes in there. But as students, we had access to all of them. We could go down, pull a card in, and we'd actually get to see the first editions and everything, which was unbelievable. So hopefully that will be back into thing. And of course, the other fun stories about the cobblestones in Trinity. I thought they'd been there since Yeats was there, and Goldsmith and all these fabulous people who went to Trinity. Apparently, they replace the cobblestones every 25 to 30 years. Well, they get worn down from all of us running on them and trying to get to class. But what I had to laugh is that the last year I was there, they did it and had all the cobblestones thrown, the old ones, in the corner on the thing, and all the young Dublin kids came in and stole them and selling them to the tourists. That's the original ones. Oh, yes, they're very smart. So on Wednesday, you're going to do a Dublin sightseeing tour, all right? One of the things you'll probably see is the good old Halfpenny Bridge. You have to remember, in the good old days, there were no bridges over the Liffey. There was just a ferry boat that used to carry them back and forth until they did. One of the first ones they built was this Halfpenny Bridge, which, guess what, it cost a halfpenny to cross. It was a toll, or you had to wait for the ferry, which cost anyway. But it's fabulous. It's still in existence. So you still can walk across it, and how Dublin has been built up since that was built is really amazing. It's changed so much even since I started there. But you have a local guide who's going to take you walking through, or a bus through to the different areas. Trinity may be one of them. I don't know yet. Then you're going to see the Epic Museum. It's brand new. It's only about 4 or 5 years old. It's a museum of immigration from Ireland to all the world. It's been done fabulous. I'm going to show you a video. Oh, here we go. This is the entrance to it. But I have a video in the next one that shows what it's from. It's a completely interactive museum. You can actually, you can see the videos. You can see actual representations of life as it was in those days. There's actually a thing where you can dance with dancers if you really want to go to it. There is a board that shows all the surnames, and you click on it and it'll give you an idea of the history of that surname, whether it's yours or not. It all depends. It's like the old shops years ago in Dublin that sold the coat of arms, and they say, "Oh, we'll research it, we'll get it to you." And we heard, the guy was in the background. Let's see, will we make him a duke or will we make him a prince? And if you go to 2 different shops, you get 2 different coat of arms. But no, we went and we got our full coat of arms and everything. Like, you have to be very good, but the touristy ones are very interesting, to say the least. That business has kind of died because people don't care anymore about that. They don't, years ago they'd be floating in orders with all these shields and everything. They had to make them up. Okay, so onwards, I know this is the last place you want to go to, but it's the Guinness Storehouse. It is, you'll get to see how Guinness is made, you'll do all that, and then you'll get to go up to the rooftop bar. It's a full 360-degree glass wall surrounding it. It actually shows you when you're looking out, there's a thing shows you what you're looking at, whether you're looking at Phoenix Park, whether you're looking at O'Connell Street, whether you're looking down at Dunleary and everything like that. They did a really great job. And of course, there's that free pint of Guinness, a draft that you get while you're doing this. Then you would go back to your hotel, and you're still free to dine wherever you want that night. Now let me go back to this, the immigration. Let's see, hopefully this will fit.
Brian, when you say free to dine, will they give us, or somebody provide us with where those restaurants are?
Well, I would say, yeah, I would talk to the driver. He will be able to tell you the best places to go, depending on what you like. You know, Dublin has a very varied menu. You can get anything from Chinese food to very high-class French food and everything. Gone are the days when they said it was was it desert of food. You only got some things and that was it. The amount of restaurants, high-class, regular, even get pizza. Go, but it was always fun because the normal menu for the local pizza shop is you got pizza and the baked potato. And coleslaw. It was like the Pizza Hut ones, small little round ones. And you'd be surprised how fast you got used to it. It was, you know.
It's Ireland, potato, whatever.
Well, you know, it's certainly for students and everything, we need a little bit more sustenance than the pizza, and this is the way they slipped it in on us, and we never knew it. All right, let's see if this works. Should come up here. Nope. Hate to say it's worked on every other monitor I tried it on, but well, this will be, when we do the link, I'll put that up as well as a separate link so you can see it. It is fabulous to look at what they've done with this.
That was a video, it was supposed to be at the museum.
Of the museum, it shows all the different areas of it. And actually,
I
well,
believe
might.
you can find it on YouTube too.
Oh, it's on
Yeah.
YouTube, but when this is over, I'll see if I can go in and pull it up after I do the presentation. So
I
you can-
just have one quick announcement. So they asked us, we're violating the fire code, we have too many people in the room, but I begged, and they said we didn't have to leave, we could finish the presentation. But what I'm gonna ask is that if we do a question and answer, if we just go down to the ballroom, it's on your way out. Again, we can sign up tonight, you cannot sign up tonight, you can ask questions, and we want you to be free to ask as many questions without pressure of leaving the room. So if you wanna pass through the bar, on your way and get a drink of water, you'll be able to do that. I don't wanna tick them off, cause they were very nice, they really were concerned that we were violating. So I said, we have another 15 minutes, and then that's that. So we'll just move our question and answer, you know, and that gives people a chance to, if you're not interested at all, we're not offended, if you don't, you know, but it also give a chance to really ask more in-depth questions if you want to too. So I just had I promised Jim Hanley we'd be out of here and downstairs for the question and answer. So I don't want him mad at us, he likes the Irish Club.
Okay, on the day you're leaving Dublin, you're going down to what's called the Rock of Cashel. However, on the way, you're going to be going through the Kildare, which is the farm horse country. All the Kildare studs are there and everything, so you will see that on the way down. The horses, the thoroughbreds are unbelievable. They don't make it out here because the trip is too long, but they're even the Arabs are buying them up left, right, and center because of the quality of the breeds. We're going to go down to the Rock of Cashel, which is back there, but underneath it is what they call Baru Baru, which was built by a by an organization called Cultus Celtoriarum, which is loosely translates the Irish Traditional Musicians Association. They're the ones that have, shall we say, kept the Irish tradition going in traditional music. They're the ones that organize all these FLAs and everything like that. And the FLA is actually a competition for them to qualify to go to the All Ireland in August. But they built this there, and you can see at the very bottom, the entrance, it has a history of the music playing. You can buy tapes, real traditional tapes, not so much the ones that you might find in the stores and everything like that. Very well worth it. Unfortunately, I'm trying, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's too early in the season. They used to do a dinner and show in Baru, which was unbelievable. The women from the farm come in and cook the meal. So it's like pot roast that melts in your mouth and everything like that. And the show is the best traditional show you'll see in Ireland because they're all traditional musicians and dancers. In fact, the year that it was built, I had a tour over, and the head of Cultus actually opened up the place for me so we had the very first show in that place. And it was funny because we're crawling over the construction equipment and everything to go into the place, but it's very well. And then afterwards, there is a kitchen, which you'll imitation thatch cottage in the building where they have music and everything like that all the time. So it's very well. You see, there's just a little bit of emphasis on the real tradition versus anything else. All right. All right, from there, we're going to go down to Cove. Cove used to be called Queenstown during the bad old days. But you would think, I would imagine that most people who immigrated from the south of Ireland, from Kerry and Cork, all left from Queenstown to the United States. In fact, it was the last port of call for the Titanic. So there's a great heritage museum there. They have a lot about the Titanic leaving and also the people who left from those southern counties to Ireland. You can see it's a rather colorful town with all the houses painted, and that's the cathedral itself. Yeah. There you go. And then you're going to be transferred to the seaport of Kinsale for the night. You'll have dinner in the hotel. The hotel is on the river, or the inlet there. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to get rooms looking at the thing, but it's right there. You can walk out and see it. You're only about 2 or 3 blocks into the main town itself, so you can go out and look. During the morning, the next morning, you're going to do a walking tour, and they'll also take you to Charles Fort, which is the largest and oldest military installation in the country. The artists love the town of Kinsale. Winding streets, colorful things, big Georgian, it's fantastic. It's also been called by National Geographic as the gourmet capital of Ireland. It's a seaside resort. They get all the fresh food moving in. They have fantastic gourmet restaurants and everything. So it's well worth it to go into town. Again, talk to the driver and everything to see what is there. I don't know too much now because a lot of them have been closed and opened and everything since the pandemic. We're trying to find out who's left and who's not at this point. Again, you do an overnight in train, so again, it's 2 nights in the one location. Very close to the Old Head Kinsale Golf Course for anybody who might be interested. From there, we're going to go visit Blarney Castle. Here we go. Anybody know the story of Blarney Castle? No? Well, there is a thing called the Blarney Stone. Well, it's in Blarney Castle. And if you kiss it, you get what? Gift of gab, right.
A lot of germs.
Maybe even COVID.
Ah.
They
Wow.
say the same guy has been there for 100 years that holds people's ankles. I'm not doing that.
Well, I remember when I was, 8, the first time going over, my poor grandaunt took us and walked all the ways up to the battlements with me. I took one look at them and they said, no. You know, he's going to hang me over This, no. I never kissed it.
Okay.
On all the tours I went to, no, there's no need. Do you want me talking more than I am now? That would be dangerous. So you're going to visit there. While you're there, you're going to get to spend time at Blarney Woolen Mills, which is one of the premier shops in Ireland. They have just about everything you possibly can imagine, between Waterford crystals, Irish sweaters, Donegal tweeds, and everything. It's probably the largest store. It was a woman who built it from absolutely nothing. She came up with this idea of having a small little shop there. Now it's a multi-million-dollar operation. A lot of the stuff that you buy there, they will ship back. Remember, you're still only allowed one bag coming back. So we had one woman once on the trip, it was very bad. She bought crystal chandeliers. I mean, it was, the driver told me on that particular tour, he'd never seen people spend that much money in all life. They figured out, he was talking to that they spent $6,000 on the one bus for that one day.
I could do that too.
Yeah. But see, the problem was in those days, they didn't have the electronic machines to check the credit cards. They just presumed that you just swiped it and that. They presumed that if you were going to buy it, that you were honest and you had the money.
Oh, right.
So, there was, and the woman who bought all the crystal chandeliers and everything came home. She was newlywed. She'd only been married 6 months. And she came over on the trip herself with her sisters and everything to have a good time and everything. The husband, when she came back, there was new packages arriving every day. And not from there, but from everywhere else that she was at.
Are they still married?
Almost not, because when he went to the the dentist to have his teeth cleaned, the woman said, "I'm very sorry, but they told me I have to take your card and cut it in pieces." She went over the limit 3 times.
Oh my, big deal.
So be careful. But I will talk to you a little bit later, but there is a scheme in Ireland now, because most of the goods you buy in Ireland have what they call VAT, or value added tax, put onto it. The nice thing about being a tourist, if it's an item that you're bringing home with you, that they will refund the VAT before you leave. So that's good. You'll get a card from CIE, which most stores will accept. So what you just do is you just swipe it at the store. They have a machine there. And when they come back, this thing doesn't like to stay in one place. When you check in to the thing, there's going to be a kiosk there or a booth that you can swipe the card, and they'll do two things. One is they'll either refund it to a credit card if you want, or they'll give you cash. Well, it's not so good, because then you're going into the Shannon Airport duty-free shop afterwards. Method in their madness. But it is something that you do. It usually can be anywhere from 15 to 30% VAT on any kind of product. So it's a lot. And buying the stuff in the duty-free is they'll remove the VAT and the duties. Your Best Buys in the Shannon Duty are the booze and things like that. However, you need to check with the current customs regulations to find out. Usually only 1 bottle. Years ago, it used to be 5. And then include how old the person was. I remember coming home and Mom had 5 bottles for me and 5 for her. And it wasn't for us, it was for all the relatives that put their order in, that they wanted this and that. So it's interesting. We'll get all that information to you. Okay, over here. Yeah, so we're back in the Blarney Castle. What's that?
I think they accept US dollars.
No. Well, it's euros is the currency.
Right.
If they accept Irish U.S. money, they're going to do it at an exchange rate you don't want to hear about.
But it's pounds there, right?
No, it's euros now.
Oh, it's your euros.
Euros, yeah. It's part of the EU.
Oh, okay,
So
good.
it's done. But no, you can't. And then the best thing to do, which we'll do when we do the tickets and everything, is that you're better off bringing a debit card with you and taking the money out of the debit machines, because you get the banker's rate
When you get there.
when you get there, yeah. Buying the currency in Newark or any of the airports or even at the banks, you pay a premium for it.
Okay.
But, and the other thing I'll tell you, be careful, make sure your credit card that you're going to be using does not charge foreign transaction fees.
Like American Express.
Well, American Express and Discover are not taken as widely as MasterCard and Visa. You might see Diners Card every once in a while, but it's mostly MasterCard and Visa these days. American Express may charge.
American Express didn't charge me in Scotland,
Yeah, well, it depends.
but Visa did.
Visa did, yeah. There
So
are
check
one-
with your credit card, is what I'm hearing, right?
Oh, you have to check with them and get it in writing, or look at it. If you look at your, the whatchamacall, the sheet they give you, they usually say whether or not you pay foreign exchange fees or anything, but talk to them. There are one or two that don't charge. I think Chase has one and someone else has. I'll have to find out. Costco, okay. As long as it's MasterCard and Visa. And the other thing with the ATM machines, make sure you have a 4-digit PIN. They do not accept 3-digit PINs. Most of them are 4 now, but there's a few holdouts. All right. So after Blarney Castle, we're going to on your way to Killarney. All right? Again, we're having overnight Killarney. That is the town of Killarney above me. You can do a visit there. Plenty of music sessions in the pubs, the hotels and everything. I'll be trying to get what's going on those particular days when you're over there from my contacts in the Irish music scene, so that you know what to look for and everything like that. So you're overnight. Killarney Avenue Hotel is right, it's another about 5-minute walk into town. It's very close to the Macros House Gardens entrance and everything, so it's there. The Johnson car is not included in the tour, but guess where that leaves from? Right there. So if you want to do that for the day and take off and not go with us, you certainly can. Again, you have the ability, just make sure you tell the driver that you're not coming, so he doesn't go nuts when he's doing this head count and there's people missing.
Isn't there a free afternoon in Killarney also?
Yes, one of the next one. The rest of the day free
Yeah.
for independent activities. We're going to go then to Dingle Peninsula, which is the most beautiful place in the world according to National Geographic. It absolutely is fabulous. There's mountains, sandy beaches, green landscapes, rocky headlands, small little towns that you can go visit and shop, and you'll be able to spend time in them. You'll see Sleafhead, you'll see even the peninsula. For those of you who are Star Wars fans, you'll pass one of the, unfortunately it is a ferry ride out to the island, but that's where they filmed one of the last Star Wars, where Luke Skywalker went off to that monastery thing and he was sitting on the edge of nowhere. That was off the Dingle Coast. On the way back, you're going to stop in the town of Inch and you're going to have dinner there. And that's at Foley's Bar and Restaurant. Yes. Overnight, you're back to Killarney. You're free to do what you want for the night as well. So there's a lot of free time. We're not killing you. Or you don't. You think I am, but we're really not. We could make it worse. All right. So the next day, you're going from Killarney to Ennis. We're going to stop in the town of Adair, which is infamous for its thatched cottages and great gardens and everything. You'll be stopping in the town. You can take a walk around, take all the photos you want and everything. But it's very unique in terms of that they keep all these thatched cottages intact. You get to see on the top is Adair Manor. That is one of the famous, and guess what? There's a golf course there. And heads of state stay there, presidents, prime ministers and everything when they're over for conferences and everything. It's a beautiful place. And then we're going to go on to Ennis. That's one of the town things there. When you get there, you're going to be met by a guide and they're going to give you a walker tour of Ennis, so you know what's there, what to see and everything else like that. You'll have dinner and overnight there as well in the hotel restaurant. if we get this hotel, we're right in the city center, right in the middle of all the music and the sessions and everything. So, you know, we need deposits so they will feel secure that we're coming. But, and it's, you know, it's a great little small town. It's what, 11th century, it's been around. The hotel that you're staying, if it is the Temple Gate, was actually an old abbey. The hotel dining room that you had breakfast and dinner at was the old chapel they converted. You can still see where the altar used to be, the stained glass windows, the vaulted ceilings and everything like that. But it is really beautiful in that place. Then we get to Flanua. You get the whole day to experiment with that. It's home, I said it is the first FLA of the year. I will be getting when they publish the schedule, what competitions are on. Most of them are within walking distance of the town. If you get lucky and get, well, you probably don't know what set dancing is. The best way of describing it is country western square dancing with river dance footwork. And it is absolutely unbelievable. It's like, you know, one dance is about 20, 25 minutes long. There's 8 parts to it. And, you know, they'll be doing it in the street. No, you don't want you yet. But it is this factor that they're going to be playing on the streets and doing that. And as the competition, if the under-8 set dancing competition is on, well worth going. They're like little old men and ladies dancing, and better than the adults. And I do the set dancing myself. Well, that's the thing. As I said, I taught Irish dancing for 30 years, but I still do that. And you know, we used to, up until the pandemic, we used to go. Well, I used to go to Flanua first, and then down in we have what's called Willie Clancy Week, which is in just Milltown, Malvey down the road. It's called 10 days of set dancing. We have workshops in the morning, Kaylee in the afternoon, and a Kaylee at night. There was one year I think I lost 15 pounds. But I had 2 meals a day at the same, 2 full meals, just to keep up the energy. But you'll see that kind of dancing and everything. Up here, where the little girls dance, and this is what they call the Geek. It's an actual tractor trailer that they turn into a stage. And it goes from FLA to FLA. I guess if you've been to the Belmar Parade, you know, the little kind of thing they bring in, that's right, multiply by 5 times. But they have the bands, they have dancers and everything. It's right in the front square there, within a few steps of where you come out of the hotel. And right there on the left corner is the cross in the square, and they play in the music there and everything else like that. And hopefully this one will work as well. This is one of the older FLAs from 2016. They don't have a modern one on, but it gives you an idea what you might find in the streets, in the pubs, in the stores. You never know. Nope, it's not gonna. Okay, we'll play that at the end as well. Okay. As for Flanua, this is this year's map of Flanua. Every one of those yellow dots is a pub or a hotel that has sessions and everything. So you can go from one to the other, whatever you like. Plenty of restaurants in town, so it's going to be a fantastic way to end your trip. You know, you don't like Irish music by then? There's no hope for you. Yeah. Well, they said, one of the guys said that if you're not up dancing when that's playing, then you better check your pulse to see what's wrong. All right. So unfortunately, Wednesday is the time you have to come home after all this. Unless you want to extend it, we might be able to do that. You're going to transfer to the Shannon Airport to check in for your flight. Again, much nicer than Dublin, very quiet and very smooth. Here's where you're going to collect your money from the VAT. That's the card that you'll get. You'll get in the packet that you get. It's like a guide to Ireland. In the back, they have this lovely discount card. You register it before you go. Any store you do, you would swipe it there. if they don't have that, I still get them to give you a VAT receipt, because then you can go to one of the other counters and file to get it there backwards. All right? And of course, the nice thing is you clear U.S. Customs and Immigration in Shannon Airport. So you come in as a domestic flight in all intents and purposes. So you go to the thing, you collect your bags, and you're out of there. You don't have to wait online behind there are thousands of people. The 250 off the Air India flight before you, where they go through all their bags and everything because they suspect of all the different meats and everything they're sneaking in. Certain things to be aware of: you cannot bring meats and things unless they've been approved by the FDA. That is usually the ones that you can buy in Shannon Airport. They're the ones that have been approved, they've gone through, the factories have all been inspected by the FDA. So that's the ones that you can get, the black puddings. Try not to have the relatives give you the black puddings from the local bakery shop or the grocery shop, because, well, they're great, but they're not gonna get through. You know, we have the dogs now that go through the luggage and everything, and they spot them like crazy. So I had a very interesting story. I was coming back one year from Shannon, and was when the customs were in JFK, and I went up to the thing. Guy says, "Well, do you have any food or anything?" I said, "The only thing I have is the things I got in Shannon." "Oh, let me see them." "They're not. You can't bring things." I said, "No, they're approved." He was new on the job. So he looked, he asked some guy, said, "Oh, okay, let me see them anyway." So he picked up the lovely black pudding. And he looked, he says, "What's this?" "It's a sausage. You'll see it at breakfast every morning." And he looked at it and he said, I started to read the ingredients. He said, "Here, I wouldn't confiscate it." It's a blood pudding is what it is. That's all it is. Well, you gotta try it first because you will like it. I told you I had those university students. The first morning they went in for a buffet breakfast. And I said, "What's good?" I told them the sausages, the eggs. I like the black puddings. You might not. So they all had it, and they couldn't get enough of it. They ran out of it every place we went, every hotel. They were all gone. Even after I told them what they were. So yeah, and then you always have the last minute shopping at the Shannon Duty Free shop. Again, whiskeys, some jewelries and stuff like that are good buys. A lot of the clothes and everything may or may not be. You gotta think. The nice thing you should do is, but they won't let you, is go up and price check in the Shannon Duty Free airport first before you go on tour. Then you know what the prices are. But, well, I had two on one of my tours that did that. They disappeared when we got our bags. We could not find them in the airport. And we're looking all up. Then we had to call the guards in because we were wondering what happened to these people. Shannon Airport's not that big to get lost in. 10 minutes later, they're coming down the stairs from the duty free. They talked the guy into letting them up and thought they were leaving on the next flight. Well, this one was very interesting. She's the one that her boat out to the Aran Islands ran aground for 4 hours. So that finishes just basic presentation. There is the information there. We have the pricing on there. What we need to do to start, the deposit is $250 per person. Yeah.
Well, some people may not be able to go
Okay,
downstairs,
yeah.
so just briefly,
Right.
you know,
So
tell them what they need to do.
the deposit is $250 per person. It is refundable up to 100 days prior to our departure. But we always recommend that you do travel insurance, definitely. CIE hasn't come out with their program, but it's usually not as great as the one that you have. You have a choice between the 3 different packages. They cover more things, they have better value, and we can do that. But you have to remember that to cover what they call pre-existing conditions, you must purchase the insurance within 14 days of putting your deposit down. If you do it after they can actually come back, and if something happens, they say, "Well, you knew about that," or some other time, so you might be denied. So that's the thing. The deposit is refundable, unfortunately, the insurance is not. But, no, I just need you guys to know that. When you're filling out the forms, make sure you use your names as on the passports exactly, because it's gonna take a while. If it's, the tickets are ever published with your real name on, and you find out later, it's very costly to get them changed. They're gonna actually have to reissue the ticket. So make sure that you use your legal names as in the passport. Other thing about passports, if you don't have one that's gonna be valid in 2024, now is the time to get it. It's like 2, 3, 4, sometimes 6 months to get it processed. So the thing about your.
What we have now, we probably can continue with questions and answers, because
Sure.
enough people have
Yeah,
left.
that's fine.
So if you have a question that you wanna ask quickly, I just don't know if people went down thinking that we're doing it down there,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I don't want, listen to anybody. So, and we do need 20 people, right, minimum?
Yeah, well, the price that we have is based on 30 people. Anything below that will cause the price to go up. Anything above that, up to 45, the maximum, the price will go down about $200 a head. So the more people we have, the better.
And would this have to be in writing?
I'm sorry?
Would the money have to be in?
Well, the deposit, as soon as possible. Again, we have 45 seats, and with the number of people here, if they all want they all put a deposit down, it's really unfortunately first come, first served in deposits. As soon as possible, because then we need to get hotels confirmed and everything for that amount, we need to know.
Any itineraries laying around?
No, that's
Yeah.
the maximum. They're usually a 50, 55 seat coach. You don't want any more than 45 on it.
I think what I'll do is, I'll talk to Brian, and I think we'll come up with a date that we have to have a deposit and a definitive. It doesn't mean you have to be paid, but you have to deposit, which is refundable, so that we know what kind of numbers we have.
I think if you look at the booking form, final payment's not until March 7th, I believe, that's on there.
And all payments are processed through you, correct?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
And can people pay on time? When I say on time, can they send you $1,000 this month
Yes,
and
they can do
500 the
that,
next
sure.
month? All right, so that you will have that
We have that option to do,
you know,
certainly.
uh,
The only other thing is that for the last payment, if you're doing credit card, you'll need to fill out a credit card authorization form. That's simple. I'll have them here for you and everything like that. The form you fill in now actually gives authorization just for the deposit, nothing else.
Regarding the flights.
Yes.
Can you use your, if I wanna use points,
Yeah.
fly, I need to purchase tickets through you.
That's fine. However, there's a caveat to that. If something goes wrong with the flight, like I said, we're bumped off it, or we're bumped and we're put on a different flight or anything, it's your responsibility when you get to Ireland to catch up with us if you miss us.
Or would it be on the same flight?
You may not be. There is a flight leaving out of Newark last night. A priest had 35 people with them. The planes were canceled and they were put on 4 different flights. So, and the chances are very rare that will happen. You know, so you can use the points and everything, but be aware that there could be the possibility that you might
Just
miss it.
one interruption. We seem to be out of itineraries again, maybe some people took extra, but, if, I'm gonna pass the sheet around, if you don't have one, let me know your email, cause I have it on my email, so I can forward it. If you have one, she had it before there's always one in every crowd.
Well, the thing is, if I'm gonna probably do a link to my website from their website, and that information will be there, the forms. will
If
be
you're a
there,
couple and you have 2 itineraries, please, if you can, anybody else need one that didn't get an itinerary? So I need one?
Which is the itinerary?
What's that?
Yes, I need one application per room. For a room, I need both people on it for one application just for the 2.